Hello,
Yes. Sudhakar?
can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
We'll start.
Yeah, yes, we'll start.
We'll start.
Yeah.
Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the inconvenience. On behalf of PSG College of Arts and Science, the Department of Catering Science and Hotel Management, and BVOC Hospitality Management, I welcome all the participants today for this afternoon session. At this juncture, I would like to thank our secretary, our principal, and our vice principal for their guidance and support. Today's session again will focus on the challenges and strategies of the restaurant sector to overcome the crisis of the restaurant sector to overcome the crisis. At the same time, it will be in the international context also. The session will also highlight on the students' preparation towards these challenges and to build up a career in this evergreen field. Today, now we have with us one of our proud alumni, Mr. Sudarshan Murugavel, who's a chef, proprietor, Dosa Kitchen, Newcastle, United Kingdom, who will be the resource person today. Mr. Murugavel and Sudarshan Murugavel has been our alumni, and because of his dedication, determination, and hard work, he was able to achieve this dream particularly. He is currently owning a South Indian restaurant at Newcastle, UK. I am very happy to welcome him for this program and request him to take over the session. Before that, my sincere request to all participants, kindly mute your mic and disable your voice. If you have any questions, post in the live chat. Now I hand over the session to Mr. Sudarshan Murugavel. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the PSG management for giving me the opportunity to host the session. I just wanted to talk about a few things today. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sudarshan Murugavel. I come from a village called Dali, which is closer to Tirumurti Hills. The closest town is Udmalpet. That's my native town. I've been in the UK for the last since 2006. Worked in different hotel industries in the UK, and I've had my own restaurant. And I'm very proud to say that I'm an alumni of PSG College of Arts and Science. We were the first batch to come out of PSG College of Arts and Science in 2002. And I've started my career with Leela's in Bombay. Then I moved to Dubai, worked with Madinat Jumeirah Hotels. And then from there, I moved to UK. And then I gone back to India, worked with ITC Hotels in India. And then I worked with the Novotel group of hotels in the UK. And then I worked with some of the British gastropubs as well. And currently, I own a restaurant. It's called Dosa Kitchen. It is a typical South Indian restaurant. That's what my journey is all about. So I would like to give you a little bit introduction about Dosa Kitchen. What is Dosa Kitchen? Why we started and what we do. We have started. I think. Can you hear me, Satish? Can you hear me, Mr. Sudhakar?
Yes. Audible.
Audible, right? Okay, great. So the Dosa Kitchen is started up we started this restaurant in 2015 as a pop-up restaurant because we were the pioneers to bring an authentic South Indian food to Newcastle, because in the UK, mostly the Indian food is considered as chicken tikka masala, naan breads, rice, popcorn. It's mainly the North Indian food. But we are far further away from London. We are in the northeast of England, where we were the first one to introduce the South Indian food to Newcastle. So to introduce something like this, we didn't want it to open up a full-fledged restaurant. So we started as a little pop-up, doing like pop-ups 4 times a week, just to see how people would take South Indian food in Newcastle. We've been very successful as a pop-up, and from the pop-up, we moved on to a permanent place for the last 2.5 years. So that's the journey of Dosa Kitchen. If you ask me what we do at Dosa Kitchen, our mission is simple. We wanted to bring the best dosas. We wanted to bring the best dosas to Newcastle. Sorry, somebody is talking. Can you mute it, please, if you don't mind? So yeah, the mission for us is to bring the authentic South Indian food to Newcastle and serve like great dosas. And we kind of introduced dosas to the people in the northeast of England. And then on top of that, what we do is we have a separate division called Coimbatore Food Company, where we do caterings, event management, like weddings, birthday parties, house parties, and things like that. Even in that, we introduced something unique where we do live dosa counters on the parties and stuff like that. And then we've got another division called street food, where we've taken things like dosas, we've taken kottu paratha, we've taken a lot of authentic South Indian food onto the streets, onto the markets in the northeast. Kind of, we go and do like stalls in food markets, we do like street food markets, and we do like car park spaces and things like that, because we're trying to bring the awareness of South Indian food in Newcastle. So that's all the way we kind of one way of marketing your food to the public. So that's all about that's all about Dosa Kitchen and what we do. So right now, in a situation, we are in a pandemic situation of what has happened to the world. So I would like to say about how this has affected the industry. Before even the COVID-19 has affected us, we were all preparing from last year, because in the UK, we had something called Brexit. UK was coming out of European Union. So we know that that's going to make a major impact on the hospitality industry, just not only the hospitality industry or every other sector. So we were basically preparing to tackle that situation. By the 2020 January, we came out of the European Union and things started going stable, and we thought this year is going to be great. But unfortunately, this COVID-19 has affected us, and what has happened, we've all shut down now. So I just want to give you a brief, thing about what this restaurant industry in the UK is all about. In the UK alone, the restaurant industry is worth about 38 billion, just the restaurant alone. Approximately last year in the survey, they said there's about 86,000 restaurants in the UK, where about 1.7 million people visit once a week to the restaurant all over the UK. That's kind of the statistics. And the biggest thing is the restaurant industry had about nearly 1 million people recruited by the restaurant industry. So this big is the industry which is affected now. But saying that, it's just not us, every other industry is affected. So we all have to stay together, stick together, and then find ways to come out of it, and then be positive about the situation. So when I say how it's affected, yes, it's affected because we have to follow the government guidelines. The government has asked us to ask the public not to go to the public places on the 22nd of March. So the people who were going to the restaurant started going low, because people were very scared, like what'll happen if we go there and catch the virus. So people stopped coming to the restaurants, and then the government has announced that restaurants and pubs has to be closed until further notice. So we completely shut down, but the government is allowed to do some kind of a takeaway and takeaway and delivery services. But that was up to the individual restaurants what they wanted to do. But we decided to shut down by the end of March, considering the health and safety of the customers and obviously the staff as well. We don't want to be the carriers of the virus to the customers, or we don't want any of our staff to get the disease basically. So we completely shut down the operation, but it doesn't mean that we didn't want to do anything. Basically, what we were doing is we were trying to figure out ways how we could get back into the into the industry when things settle down. We need to find a way to bounce back. So that's what we were doing all this time. So what we'll be doing is a question, like, it depends from country to country. So here what we'll be doing is, and what we're going to do is, basically what we did was we're going to react. We're going to adapt to the situation now. The reacting means, as a dosa kitchen, we believed takeaway was not a great business for us, and we've never done takeaways. We never done deliveries in the past. But now, due to the situation, we have to adapt to the situation. So we're changing the way we operate. So we're planning to open a takeaway and delivery service from the next week, basically from the next Wednesday. So what we've done is we are staffing the kitchen as low as possible so that there's not too many chefs in the kitchen. We're going to staff the front of the house, will be like where the guests can come and collect the food, or we'll start doing the deliveries where we're going to have maybe 1 or 2 staff in the front of the house to take the orders and give it to the kitchen, and the kitchen will prepare the food ready for the delivery. Where even what we're planning is, we are planning to close the restaurant's doors. When people come for takeaways, we would go and deliver in their cars so that we can stop them coming to the restaurant. That means we can stop, if they were affected by the virus, then at least it stops them bringing the virus into the restaurant. So that's one step we are doing. Health and safety is very important in the UK. We are a 5-star rated restaurant, so we are very much focused on the hygiene, health and safety, the way we produce the food, to the way we deliver the food. So that was always our priority, but we have taken extra steps to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Basically, we've got like hand sanitizers, gels everywhere. We're providing masks for the front of the house staff to go and deliver the food. We're providing gloves for them to go and deliver the food in the car. So we are trying to minimize the spread of the virus. The reason why we are doing that is, we were always done that, but we just wanted to make it very strict, and we have to take it to the public to ensure that the guests are satisfied with the service what they're getting, because they need to feel comfortable, or they need to feel that they're safe in our hands. That's the reason we take extra steps to make sure the hygiene and the hand sanitizers and everything is provided, to make sure that we will not allow to spread the virus, and we will do our best to keep the virus contained. And as I said, one way is takeaway. The other platform, what we've done is we created something called deli menu. Deli menu is anything is served cold. So basically, our plan is, we're going to make the food, we're going to blast chill it, put them in containers, keep it ready for people to order. So we're going to give people like a delivery slot times on Saturday, so people have to place the orders by Wednesday. We get the orders through, we process them we buy the ingredients on Thursday, we process them on Friday, blast chill it, put them in the containers, and we have delivery slot times. We'll go and deliver the food in their houses. Basically, that food can last up to 3 days because it's blast chilled. So what happens there is, the guests can enjoy the food whatever time they want it, at their convenience. They just have to just reheat it. So that's one way of diverting the business into. And then on top of that, we have tied up with another community service called Local Heroes, which is initiated by the local small businesses. So basically, we are all trying to help each other. They've set up a platform exactly the same way what we were saying. So they'll place the order to us. They're like a hub. We will, like all small restaurants and all small food producers, will deliver the food into the hub, and the hub will start delivering into the northeast by it's called eMove. It's called ZMove. Basically, it's like the pedal bikes, motorized pedal bikes. So it's basically trying to reduce the carbon footprint as well. So that's another platform we've taken to increase the sales. So this is what we were doing when we were close, and we were just thinking about different models to work out how we can sustain after crisis is over. But as I said, this is a crisis, and this is not the first time. This is the first time something like such a big pandemic has happened. Our industry has faced troubles in the past. In 2008, 2010 recession, our industry got hit really badly, but it took some time, but we bounced back, and then we're doing pretty well. So there's always going to be a fluctuation, but this is something which is not in anyone's control. It has happened, but now what we wanted to be very positive, see how we can help each other, how we can come out of the situation. That is the main thing to focus on now. And so if you ask us what is going to be the future, as I said, it's just not us, it's everyone. We are all in this together. It's just not hotel industry, it's not the IT, it's not the engineering, it's not, no one is alone in this one. Everyone, every industry is in together. So basically the food industry, the restaurant industry will bounce back depending on how the other industries bounce back. Basically, the tourism has to develop, people have to come out, people have to have jobs to go and spend the money outside. So slowly the economy will start growing. When the economy starts growing, the restaurants will grow. So that's one thing. I'm very confident that we will grow back, and we will really do well in the future. So basically, what I want to say is this is what's happening to the industry, and there are so many other things going behind the scene, like how we can how we can keep this business alive. So basically, how we can cut the cost, and it's just not laying off the staff. That is not the only way we can grow the business. We still at Dosa Kitchen, we haven't laid off any of the staff. We have all the staff on the payroll. Yes, we have a great support from the government to keep the staff in the payroll. So that's a great help from the government. But nevertheless, we never had any plans to lay off any of the staff, because we always believe the staff and the team is the biggest backbone of the success of a restaurant. So at the same time, when we open, the operations are going to be different. We were running as a full-fledged restaurant. Basically, it is a South Indian restaurant, but where you get the service of a fine dining. It's really casual dining, but the service was really good. We had a great team, but when we opened to operate only with the takeaways and deliveries, we might not need as many staff as we had it, but we would still give them hours, and we'll just try and kind of share the hours between all the staff, so everyone takes a little bit of hours every week. That's the strategy we've got at the minute. But again, this is all the back-end plans, what's going. But here, the main thing what I want to speak is, I know there's a lot of students who are in this webinar thinking about, okay, what's going to happen to our future? What's going to happen? That'll be the question in most of your mind, and I'm sure there's lots of professors and catering industry people are here. What I would like to say is, like, we all have to stay positive. So what I'm going to say now for the next 15-20 minutes is all about preparation. I'm not saying this as an advice. I'm saying this as a guidelines. You can make the points, you can work on it, and then this is what will help us, because this is what helped me to achieve what I am at the minute. So I'm just going to share some of my experience with some of the points. So it's, again, don't think that I'm advising you, but just take this as a guidelines. Just take the points, and then see how you can relate something to that. That's what my idea is all about. So the first point I would say is this industry. If you want to sustain this industry, you need to have passion. Passion is the most important thing, which will help you to sustain for a long time in this industry. Whatever you do, you need to be very passionate about it. So why I'm saying this is, when you're cooking the food. So for example, I'm speaking from the chef's point of view. So if you're going to cook the food, you need to have passion. That means you need to put a lot of love when you cook. That means the food is going to be really, really nice, because you cook the food with some kind of with a love. So it's not about just standing there and cooking. You need to cook by your heart. That's very important. So passion is very important to withstand this industry for a long period. So, yes, Satish.
See, I believe this video is going to get cut in another 3 or 4 minutes. I'm not sure.
Right.
I got a message.
Right.
So we have created one more ID, and we'll send it to all the mails.
Right. Okay.
And if the video gets cut, you can go to that link, and you can join back again. We shall continue for another 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So you can continue. Meanwhile, if the video gets cut, you can go to your mail, take that link, and come back. All the participants.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah.
Please. That's absolutely fine. So when I said about when I was saying about the passion, why passion is so important in any industry, but food industry, passion is so important. So basically, I'm just going to give you a little story, right? Yes, Satish, we can.
Yes. And we have another 25-30 minutes and 10 minutes for question session.
Yeah. Let's quickly wind it up. Yeah, no problem at all.
Okay. Yeah.
So so we were saying about like how you can prepare yourself basically to get into the job, and then sustain and be in the industry for long. So basically, a passion. We spoke about some of the examples about the tea vendor, where you would always pick and choose to go to one particular tea vendor because you like the tea there. Why do you like the tea there? Is he doing something different? Yes, because probably he's making the tea with a lot of passion and love. But every time you go there, you get exactly the same tea, and you feel like going back there again and again. The reason why I say this is something which scenario in each and every one of your case. So basically, you will not be monitored by a supervisor all the time when you go to work. When you think that, oh, my supervisor is not looking at me, I can do whatever I want. If you start doing things like that, it will be reflected one or the other way. But whether your supervisor monitors you or not, if you do the food with all the passion you've got, and if you do that exactly what the restaurant or the hotel wants from you, and if you do that every time, you will be noticed and you will get a reward for that. That is the reason I'm saying that you need to have the passion about what you do and how you do. So the second point I would like to insist is patience. Being patient is very important in this industry. A lot of people think, all right, okay, I want to be the executive chef, I want to be the head housekeeper, I want to be the front office manager, I want to be the food and beverage manager. Things don't happen overnight. It takes time. So what do you do? What do you do to achieve that is something which you need to plan, and you need to make a footpath to achieve the destination. So basically, every step is important. In that every step, patience is very important. So basically, if you ask me, my personal experience, I have started as a commie in Leela's, and then I've taken a step at a time, from commie to chef to party, then chef to party, junior sous chef, senior sous chef, chef, and then I have a restaurant now. But it all took time. It took me about 15 years to even think about opening a restaurant. But I had a goal in my mind. That's what drove me all this way to come and open a restaurant. What I'm trying to say is you need to be patient. Things don't happen overnight. I know this is a very pretty bad situation for everyone, and especially for kids like you who are coming out of the college and thinking about, oh, I'm going to get a job in July, August, September. Things might not go per your plan, but be positive because things will improve. And then obviously, even when you go in the industry, don't be impatient. Be patient, work hard, and things will go. And the other thing I want to say is when I say about how I got the restaurant, you always have to set a plan. You always have to have a goal in your mind. So when I say a goal, when I say a dream, every one of you can't be an executive chef. Every one of you cannot be a food and beverage manager. Every one of you cannot be an entrepreneur. Every one of you cannot be whatever. Because everyone has got some personal skills. You need to think about what is your best personal skill. Are you right? I will grow in the industry by working hard. But when I reach the level, what should I do? Do I have not the capacity? Do you have the capability of running or managing a restaurant by your own? Then think about being an entrepreneur. If you think that I can be a good teacher, yes, you can become a professor. If you think that I can be a good bartender, you can become a head bartender. You can be a wine sommelier. So there's so many different things. So you guys have to think about what you want it to be. Just do not think that I just want. Not everyone can become a head chef or an executive chef. Or I'm not saying you cannot, but you always have to have plans of what you wanted to do. So always set a goal and a plan for yourself. The next thing I would like to touch is on utilizing your time. How do you think that you can utilize this time? I know you're not going to the college. The colleges are closed. You're at home. Recruitments might not happen now. So what do you do now? You have to be positive. How can you be positive? Be the third years who's passing out now. It could be the second years who will be going to third year next couple of months. And it could be even first years. We are all at home. So what do you do? What can you do is the question. What can you do is, say, for example, I'm saying by the end of third year, you guys have decided, right, I want to be a chef. The people who have decided wanted to be a chef, you should be cooking at home every day for your family. You should be creating some dishes with what is available at home. I'm not asking you to go out and buy ingredients, but I'm sure you will have stuff at home. Be creative, come up with something, serve your family. Probably, yes, you can make a lot of South Indian dishes because we all have South Indian ingredients at home. Convince your parents, convince your family that you can make some great food with simple ingredients, because that's the way the world is going to go with the situation. And say, for example, yes, most of us watching here is South Indians, and we have dosa for breakfast, for evening, many times. You should be making dosas for your family. The number of dosas where you can make during this lockdown period will help you in the future somewhere down the line. I was never trained in the South Indian kitchen. I was always worked in Mediterranean, Italian, French. That's what all my career was. But when I used to work in Park Sheraton is a place where the best South Indian food you can get in India in production. Every time I go there, every time when I was a sous chef there, so every time I go in the kitchen, I would ask the chef, how do you make this? How do you make that? And I give it a try. That is what you need to be putting your hands on now at home. You need to be making the food for your family and make use of the time. You've got plenty of time to read, and you've got a lot of information on the open resources now. You go on the Google, you read about the meat, you read about cuts of meats. It's plenty on the internet where you can read and improve your knowledge. I'm not just saying only for the chefs, but I can say even for if you're interested to go into the F&B service, what can you do? You can read a lot about wines. You can probably improve your knowledge about wine, spirits. Probably you can make some mocktails at home with ingredients what you've got at home. And this might sound silly, but when you get a job, the first thing they'll be seeing is how you're going to carry a tray of food or how you're going to carry a tray of drinks. What you can do now, you're at home, you've got plenty of time. So take a tray, whatever is available, put some stones, put some glass on the tray, try and walk around with the tray. That's the practice. Because these are the things you won't get it after you get the job. If you're really good in that, you go there, and if you start doing this from the day one, your supervisor is going to be impressed on you, thinking that, great, this guy is doing absolutely fantastic. That is what you need to be learning. And people who would be choosing to go into housekeeping, what can you do? Keep your house tidy, make housekeeping at home, do your beds at home, do your parents' bed at home, and that's something learning. Front office, what do? It's more about communication. What can you do in the next months when you're in the lockdown? Try and learn another language. It's nothing wrong in learning another language, which could help you, which internet is great now. You can learn so many things through internet. But this is what I'm saying about making use of time. I've got loads of stories to share with you from my personal experience, but I think we don't have enough time. But I always believe you need to make use of the time. If you waste the time, that means you're wasting, especially when you're young, you need to make use of the time, because that will help to achieve better things in life. So please make use of the time by, even you can ask your professors. I'm sure everyone has got email access, asking them what books to read, how you can develop the knowledge, and they should be able to guide you things. So that is very important, utilizing the time. And another thing, believe in yourself. That's very important, because you have to believe in yourself what you wanted to be. Say, for example, when I came out of the hotel industry after I finished my studies, when I had my first job in Bombay, like every one of you, I had a dream to go and work in cruise liners. But one of the chefs said, listen, that's a wrong decision you would make. He told me some reasons, and I wasn't ready to accept those reasons at the time. But when I sit back and think about it, that is true, because what he said to me was, you can go to cruise liners before working in any of the hotels or restaurants as a commie in the cruise liners, where the job in the cruise liners would be a particular job for a full contract. What you'd be doing. Maybe you'll start peeling potatoes when you go into the ship. You'll be doing that for the next 8 months. You wouldn't be learning anything else. You go to the second contract, something like that, you'll be doing that. So if you keep doing that, maybe 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you'll make money. But when you come out of it, you just got only money. You don't have a job security, because if I have to recruit somebody in my restaurant, if somebody comes and says, after finishing my college, I spent 10 years in the cruise liners, probably I wouldn't consider him. The reason being is he spent his good learning 10 years in the cruise liners, where the learning is not much. So this is the time you believe in yourself. Pick up a job wherever you get. Do not waste your time. Yes, everyone has to aim high, but the important thing is, at this situation, probably the cruise liners jobs are not available, abroad chances are not available, even getting a job in another state is not available. Coimbatore is a place you can find too many jobs now. It could be a small restaurant, it could be a hotel, it could be anything. Instead of wasting time at home, if you get a job, go and do it. And when you pick a place, there should be something great in that one particular place. Try and learn and master that particular thing in that place. That place might not be doing all the 100 dishes great, but there might be 1 or 2 dishes that might be great. Just go and learn that, because that would help you in the future at some point. So believe in yourself that you will achieve something, you can do something. So try not to waste your time. That's very important. And another thing is about learn to take the criticism. That's very important. I would say from our example, when we started Dosa Kitchen, a lot of our friends and a lot of our people who we know said that we won't be successful because we are not introducing any of the Indian dishes, what the local British people would know. When I say the local in British people know, it's all about chicken tikka masala, naan bread, rice, vindaloo, kurmas. That's what a local British person would know about the Indian food. But I'm sure you can go online, you can go into www.dosakitchen.co.uk Newcastle and see our menu. We serve a typical South Indian food. We're very pride and proud of serving dosas, which is where I come from. I'm very proud of what I'm serving to the customers. And people say, a lot of our friends said, it's very difficult, you won't survive. But what happened down the line in 4 years' time, we are the game changers. We've introduced dosa in Newcastle. A lot of people who's never been to India, a lot of people don't even know how a dosa looks like. We made them our regular customers. That's purely because you need to put the passion on the plate. You need to be honest to yourself. Whatever you produce, you need to produce with honesty. Another example, right? So say for example, I end up making dosas in our restaurant. When I make the dosas in the restaurant, I've given every authority to my manager and to the service staff. If you find the dosa is not in the right color, in a nice shape, if it's not good color, just don't take it. Don't be afraid of telling me that this is not the right one. And I would agree with them, because the reason is during the heat, the chefs can do mistakes. If I've done mistakes, I won't realize it. But when they say it, I would take the criticism in a positive way. Even though it's my restaurant, it is something which I take in pride in serving the best dosas and the best South Indian food. So you have to learn to accept the criticism, which it is a big learning thing. Satish, you want to ask me something, Satish?
Yes, Sudarshan. There's a question from one of the senior professor, Mr. Sukumar.
Right.
That is, what are the precautions and suggestions you would like to give for those who want to start their new ventures, or those who are in the business for 1 year?
Right. Do we just finish up one more thing and then can we jump on the question, Satish? Is that okay?
Yes. We have another 15 minutes more. Maybe
right.
5 minutes and 10 minutes we'll discuss.
Right. I'll take 2 more minutes. That's it. I mean, the final thing I want to say is, guys, with the current situation, people will be hiring a chef, but they will be expecting the chef to do a kitchen porter job, because that's what the industry is going through. So you need to be prepared. You need to be multitasking. No job is bad. Keep this in your mind. You go into the industry thinking that I'm a chef, I'll not wash dishes. No, take that attitude away. Go in this industry thinking that, right, I will go and I'll do the job and I'll do multitasking, because as an owner of a business, I would recruit people with good attitude more than skills. I need skills, but attitude is more important. So go with an open attitude. So I would like to finish off this there, and then I'm happy to take questions. So what was the first question, Satish?
Precautions and suggestions for people who are into new ventures.
Right. The new ventures is facing and is going to face the biggest challenge, because somebody who's in the industry for the last 10 years, they would know. Somebody who's not started, they're fine. But somebody who started just for a year, where the cash flow is not great, they don't have enough money to pay the wages, they don't have enough money to pay their rent and stuff like that. This is something upon how much belief they got on the product. If they think that their product is going to be successful after this lockdown period is over, the first thing I would say is, please retain the staff, at least the key staff members who are going to make the difference. That is very important, because if you retain them, they'll be thankful to you and they'll be loyal to you, and they're the one who will grow the business. And obviously the rent and taxes is depending on the country to country. We had help from the government, but in India, I'm not sure what's happening. But as I said, staff is the key thing for the success of the business. So that's what I would say. Retain the staff. Cash flow wise, I would say reduce the menu, keep some low cost menu which can give you profitability. Basically, if you think, say for example, in our menu, The lamb is a free-range lamb, which is very expensive. So probably when we start doing takeaways, we might take the lamb off the menu. Chicken is cheaper than lamb, gives you better profit, so we'll keep the chicken. So that way, you just have to make sure that you take away the expensive things and adopt the menu to the profitability.
Yes. Thank you, Sudarshan. There is one more question, which says that 13% of people identify them as vegetarians across the globe.
Yeah.
So how do you strategize this with the present scenario, as the entire world is apprehensive towards the meat, non-vegetarian food as a whole?
An interesting thing, right? It's not only vegetarian. Out of this 13% of the population, I don't know how many are vegans. You know what vegans are like? They don't eat any animal fat. They don't eat anything from animal fat. No eggs, no meat, nothing. It's purely vegetarian. Fortunately, our food is vegan. The South Indian food is vegan. Say, for example, every dosa is a vegan. We don't put ghee except the ghee dosa. We don't put egg, and the dosa itself is vegan. The sambar is vegan. The chutneys are vegan. The vadas are vegan. The kottu parathas are vegan. So basically, our restaurant is becoming very popular because our food is naturally vegan. Yes, it is true. The world is changing. Being in this country, I am able to produce a lot of vegetarian dishes. And, we do something called a Sunday supper, which we very popular. The Sunday supper, we have a vegetarian option and a meat option. Our vegetarian option is more popular than the meat option because the local British people have not tasted so many different types of vegetables. Like, say, for example, I'll say like avaraka, vendaka, podalanga. They've never tasted it. And they cannot be made in a British style. That has to be made in an Indian style. So I think that's what, when the chefs create the menu, they have to try and introduce more different type of vegetables on the menu. And if they're creative, they can make great dishes out of our vegetables. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And there is one more question from Sharan Vasudev. What he says is, if you blast chill the product, will it not affect the taste of the South Indian dishes?
No, it wouldn't.
And one more is adding, what can we do in Kerala, where there is no big facilities for blast chilling is available?
The reason behind the blast chilling is because it brings the heat down from 80 degree. So when we cook something, it goes up to 95 degree, and then before we put in the blast chiller, it's about 85 degree. The way it works is it chills the food down from 85 degree to 4 degree, which can go in the fridge within, say, it depends on the amount of food we put in, but usually within like 90 minutes, it chills down a good quantity of food from 85 degree to 5 degree, where we believe in the food science, where that is the temperature where the bacteria grows. So we cut down the time of keeping the food outside, cuts down the growth of bacteria. So that is the work of a blast chiller. And this is something I have read in some of the books, even like Chef Gordon Ramsay's, when he started his career in France, he said that to chill the food, they would just use like ice buckets. So basically a big bowl of ice, cold water, and then put the food in another bowl and then just dip it inside the ice bowl, and that helps to chill the food down quicker. That's the only way to chill down the food quicker if you don't have a blast chiller.
And a question from a student, Sudarshan.
Mm-hmm.
That is, what kind of a strategy you use to lure the locals for your restaurant? Because without localizing the menu, what strategy you use to lure the locals to your restaurant?
See, I think if you're more authentic and if you're being more honest of what you're serving, see, as I said in the beginning, we haven't adopted our menu to any of the locals' palate. We still stick to the authentic South Indian food. Even if you want to check us out, if you go on the TripAdvisor, if you go on Google reviews, if you go on the Facebook reviews on Dosa Kitchen, you'll see people will appreciate the authenticity. So being in Coimbatore, you can do Italian food, you can do French food, you can do Mediterranean food, you can do whatever you want, but try to stick to the authenticity. Might be harder in the beginning, but when people realize that I go there, I get the authentic food in that particular place, it'll take time, but you'll grow. That's what my advice would be. Stick to the authenticity of whatever you're doing.
Yes, and you have beautifully touched on, how to use the time during the lockdown and to believe in oneself and the passion, being honesty and things like that. There is one question here which says the present trend suggests that the UK might indeed be irreversible decline as a center for retailing. That is, how are we going to compensate this in the coming future? The great loss what we are happening now.
I think the loss cannot be compensated. That's gone. It's passed beyond the question now. It's just not us. It's every industry has faced the situation. So there is no way of us thinking back. How can we bring the losses back? It's all about sustaining. How can we move forward? That's what we'll be thinking about. We in the UK we always have a trend of busy Christmas. January is always quiet. February slowly things starts picking up. March will be always the busy month because we have Mother's Day, we have Easter, 2 big Sundays. But unfortunately, we lost March completely. April, gone. May, we have bank holidays, that's going to go. June, Father's Day, gone. So it is uncertain. We are not, if we think about how we can make the money from the past, that'll put you off completely. You just have to think about how to go forward.
Yeah, and there's one more question which says that in UK you have 1.7 million people who visit restaurants once in a week.
Yeah.
And how does it work to grow and evolve with this economy uncertainty? That's the question asked by one professor.
Sorry, how does it? Sorry, Satish, I can hear you.
How does it work to grow and evolve with this economic uncertainty? How do you feel, how difficult it is?
It is going to be very difficult because we are all competing with each other with the food industry. Again, said if people don't have jobs, if people don't have job securities, if there's no tourism, obviously they're going to get affected. And it's going to be a very slow growth, definitely. But as that's what we are saying, that we are finding every different way to see how we can just keep taking over. And when things take over, I'm sure it'll all be good at some point. And we are just all waiting for that point to come.
And before we wind up, Sudarshan, thanks a lot. That was a real eye-opening for all the students. I'm sure I'll share all the feedback with you from the students who are watching through YouTube. And before we wind up, one quick question. What kind of a job security you are given to your employees?
See, as I said, we haven't laid off anyone. We have everyone on a payroll. When we had the meeting with our employees, what we said is, we're not going to lay off. When we start doing the takeaways and deliveries, what we wanted to do is we wanted to bring the part-time people in, but share. Say, for example, if we have 30 hours of work and if we have 5 employees, we don't want to give 15 hours to 2 people and then leave the rest of 3. We just wanted to share the 30 hours between all 5 of them. That's the only thing we can do. And obviously, we're going to have a meeting with the core team to see if at all business doesn't grow for the next 3-4 months, people have to take pay cuts. Obviously, at least they'll get some pay, but they have to go on a little less pay. So make sure that they've got the job with them. But once everything is back up and running, we'll be happy to, you know what I mean.
And you have said many advices. Any one advices for the final year students?
I think, as I said, the final year students are going to be most. Sorry.
Any one advice for the final year student?
I think best advice is they have to keep looking. And I said, whatever they get, they need to pick up the job. Do not wait for, I wanted a job in, say, for example, Taj Group of Hotels. I want a job in Sheraton Group of Hotels. Do not wait for the moment. If you have something locally available, take it, learn, and then you can always keep applying for the bigger hotels. And you can always say why you picked up the job, because nowadays that's what people say. if you didn't get it in Sheraton Hotels, but I picked up a job in a small restaurant in Coimbatore, I've learned this. I didn't want to waste my time. The employer will be very happy.
Okay. So that's so nice of you, Sudarshan, to spend your valuable time and to be with us for this webinar series. I'll just hand over it to Sudhagar. Sudhagar?
Yeah.
Sudhagar? Sudhagar? Sudhagar, it's audible. We are not able to hear Sudhagar. Ashok?
Satish, I am here.
Ashok, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Satish.
Ashok?
Yes, I am here.
Sir, Sudhakar sir is on mute, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Ashok is there?
Yes, Satish, I am here.
Yeah. Sudhagar, please.
Yeah.
Please, continue.
Thank you, Mr. Sudarshan. And it was a nice presentation. And thank you for sharing your valuable thoughts. Definitely, we hope all the participants would have listened to this. And your sessions are very good. And thank you once again. And also thank all the participants for attending the meeting, the webinar today. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity. I'm hoping that this was a bit of a useful information for most of you. But good luck. Let's keep fingers crossed and see. We'll be out of it soon. Let's stay positive.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So there are a lot of thanks from the participants. We have Professor Srihari, Jayalakshmi ma'am, and we have Sukumar sir, and all the professors, from various colleges and students from who are viewing through YouTube. Thank you all.
Hello.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Sudhagar.